What's up, guys? Today we're coming at you with the Odd Eyes deck profile. So let's jump into this deck profile and let's see what we're coming at you with. We're running, mandatory R3, Odd Eyes Heart Pendulum Dragon. This guy, you want to get him on the pin scale as fast as possible. It helps you, whenever your Odd Eyes cards get destroyed, it's going to help you to be able to get the resources that you need on the field as fast as possible. We're also running 3 of the OG original Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. This guy is very good for helping you when he's in the pin scale to make sure that if you've done any battle damage to one of your pendulum monsters, you can reduce that battle damage to 0. Also, too, whenever he's destroyed at the end phase, he's been able to get you a 1500 lower attack point pendulum monster. So that's very useful, help you get the searches that you need. I'm also still running 3 Odd Eyes Phantom. Odd Eyes Phantom, a lot of people like to choose between 1 or 2 of this. I still like this at 3. I like to run all the level 7s at 3. I want to be able to see as many of those level 7s as possible. A lot of people think they're bricks, but to me, the way the deck runs for me, it runs very good. This guy, I like him just the fact that he can do all the burn damage whenever he's pendulum summoned. Also, too, when he's in the pin scale, if your opponent decides to attack one of your monsters while he's in the pin scale, you can give that one of your monsters 1200 attack point boost, and that can be what you need to get over some of those problematic monsters that your opponent might have. I'm running 3 Odd Eyes Persona. Persona is good for making sure when he's on the field, just stopping those extra deck monster effects. Extra deck monster effects, there's a lot of extra deck monsters that go around and got a lot of crazy effects to be able to bait out your opponent. And these are just once per turn per monster. So if you have multiple of these on the field, your opponent, like if you're going against ABC, busters out there, they pitch, you negate it with one of them, they're gonna sit there and say, okay, I'm gonna tag out now. You say, nah, man, don't do that. Just gonna stay on the field. You don't want all that mess going on. So that can be very useful to you. I'm also running 1 of the Mascot. Like I said, Odd Eyes Mirage, he's gonna be in the deck. If I'm running an Odd Eyes deck, I'm gonna have this guy in there. There's gonna have something be drastically changed for me to not to run at least 1 of this guy. 1, because he's a normal summon, that's the main reason, but 2, he's the Mascot. You gotta run him. I'm running 1 Odd Eyes Phantasm Dragon. This guy, he's still good as a big beater. The main reason why I like him, a lot of people like to run, Advanced Lancer, things like that, and that's fine. The main reason why I like to run this guy, he is a pendulum monster. He has a low scale, so that helps out with a lot of the plays. If he does get drawn into hand, I can still just set him up in the pin scale, blow him up, if push comes to shove, I can use my Vortex. Once I get the Vortex play set up, spin him back into the deck, then use him when I need him. I'm also running 1 Performer Power Odd Eyes Dissolver and 1 Performer Power Odd Eyes Synchron. These 2 are just very good for helping to get into your fusion plays or your synchro plays, depending on how you want to set up your boards. They both are very useful for the deck, depending on what matchups you're going into. And if push comes to shove, you can use them as your switch out for your side deck cards. We're also got our starter engines in the 3 Chronograph and the OneTimegazer. This is just a good little engine. If push comes to shove and you get locked out of your pin scales, you still can, do some drastic things and still special summon this guy. You can still get some plays on board, and he's just gonna help you get some plays that you need to. And Timegazer can really help you, really save your butt sometimes. Also running 3 of the Supreme King Darkworm and also the 1 Gate Zero. This, a lot of people like to run this at 2 now, but I still like to run it at 1. If I draw it in hand, I'm not really too stressed out about that. 1 or 2 things is gonna happen. I'll either lure it away or I'll just pin something straight out of the hand and just go for my plays from there. It's not that big a deal. I still like this little engine. This guy he's very, very useful to me. But that is it for the monsters. For the spell cards, running 2 Allure of Darkness. I still like running the Allure of Darkness in this deck. This deck, even though it searches really good, it's still, I've noticed, in my opinion, it still, gets to that point where it likes to clunk. And when I say clunk, it's not that you can't get to the pieces that you need when you need them, but sometimes you need that extra little draw power to dig into the deck and just get to more pieces, more advantage that you want to. But 2 Allure of Darkness has worked out very well for me. Very, very good. I'm also running the one Pendulum Halt. Pendulum Halt, you know, a lot of people like Desires, a lot of people like Pendulum Halt. Me personally, I like Pendulum Halt because it is searchable. I get to make all my plays that I want to, and then if I want to extend the board a little bit more or just have some extra advantage in hand after I, you know, empty my hand onto the field, Pendulum Halt is very good for that. I like that a lot. Just the fact that it's searchable, that's what runs this over for Pot of Desires for me. It really does. Desires is still a good card. I still like it in the deck because I still would use it in the same manner as this, but this right here, it being searchable, thumbs up. Running 2 Duelist Alliance. We got our Art Pendulum, our Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, our Pendulum Halt that we can search out. You know, it's very useful for the deck. Very, very good searcher and helps us get to the place we want to get to. We're running 3 of the best searcher in the whole game of Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't care what nobody says. You know, Spiral Flame Strike is just all around good card. If you have an Odd Eyes on the field, you can destroy a card. If nothing else, you can search out one of your level 7 Odd Eyes. Very, very good. I'm also running 1 Summoner's Art. This is just to help to with the consistency of the deck, just to be able to make sure we get that Art Pendulum to the hand as fast as possible. We want to make sure we get him, you know, that way we can start setting up our plays and doing what we want to do. I'm also running the 1 Terraforming and the 3 Sky Iris. You know, Sky Iris is something that I really want to see first turn. I don't run 2 Terraforming just because if I draw 2 of these in hand and I have a Terraforming, I've already got 2 of these in hand, and then one of the Terraformers is gonna be dead. So I always like to run 1 and 3. That's always a ratio. That's just me personally. If you like to run 2 Terraforming, whatever else, that's up to you. But this build, I like to run it like this. I'm also running 1 Foolish Burial and 1 Dragon Shrine. Like I said, to me personally, the way I like to play the deck, this works out good for me. I run into 1 Foolish Burial. Sometimes I run into Dragon Shrine and Foolish Burial, and guess what? I just rather drop in both of them. I don't want to run multiple Dragon Shrines because one is too much. I'm not wanting to send that much to the graveyard. And once I get, you know, 1 Dark Worm in the graveyard, that's really all I need. I could send other Pendulum Mosses in there and start getting stuff back, but really, just 1 thing, that's all I need. And lastly, running 2 Return of the Dragonlords. Like I said, I use my Dragon Shrine to send my Art Pendulum to the graveyard along with the Dark Worm. Special summon the Dark Worm first, then special summon the Odd Eyes Art Pendulum, and just, you know, keep extending those plays from there. It should help you get to that Electromite that much faster, and also to be protection for your dragons. But that is it for the main deck. For the extra deck, running 1 Performer Pile Gatling Ghoul. Gatling Ghoul really, you know, comes in clutch. He can really do a lot of burn damage and a lot of attack power. You know, being 29 attack is very good for the deck. And also too, just being able to wipe off some of the, you know, crazy monsters and doing some burn damage is very useful too. Running 2 Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon. Vortex Dragon is the boss monster for the deck. You know, you get this guy on board. I always like to run 2 because sometimes, you know, Call of the Grave can get you. DD Crow can get you, so you want to make sure that if it does go to the graveyard, you're able to actually get another one back out. But the fact is, if this guy's special summon, whether it be off his summoning or whether it be off Odd Eyes or Pendulum, you're still gonna get that bounce effect just because he's special summoning. A lot of times that catches your opponent off guard. I'm running 1 Borlo Saavik Dragon. This guy's very useful. He's what I usually use to go to when I have my Odd Eyes Synchron on the field. You know, get him out there in the pin scale, use one of your Odd Eyes monsters, turn it into a tuner. Going to this guy, you're usually gonna have a Link monster already in the graveyard from your Electrum, so you're gonna get that good negate and a good bump up too. I'm running 1 Odd Eyes Meteor Burst. Meteor Burst is, like, you know, very good for hating on the battle phase. Your opponent can't activate those monster effects, and that's something that's very useful. I like that. Running 1 of the FA Dawn Dragster. I like being able to hate on them spell cards. Like I said, if you're able to get your Vortex out there, you get your FA Dawn Dragster out there, that's going to be stuff that's going to make it so that your opponents really got to start digging for some type of advantage. Also running the 1 Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. I have seen some people, they like to run the original Red Eyes B Dragon. You know, he's very good. It's a very good combo to be able to have that in the graveyard and still go for that major OTK push. But me, I just really like to run this guy just to make sure that when I've done the damage that I want to get to, if I can't, you know, push in enough damage on my opponent to kill them that turn, make them kill themselves if push come to shove. I'm also running the one Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon. This guy is just all around good for, you know, its negate for attacks and be able to special summon back of Odd Eyes, getting that field advantage. Also, too, the main thing, whenever he's sent from the field to the graveyard, to be able to make sure that you can special summon one of your Odd Eyes cards from the extra deck, and usually that's how you bring out your Vortex most of the time. It's very, very useful. We're running one number 11 Big Eye. Big Eye is just, we're running a bunch of level 7s. If your opponent gets, you know, a big extended board and they don't have a monster over there that says you can't target me, but they still got a big monster, snatch steal, baby. That's the reason why it's banned. We put a Big Eye on the field, snatch steal your stuff. We're also running one Hieratic Seal of the Heavenly Spheres. This card is, you know, very good. You know, if you don't go into your Electromite or you extended your board to the point where Electromite's off the board and you have dragon monsters on the field, you can go into this guy. He's gonna help you to be able to spawn out extra dragons. But the main thing I like to do is have him on the field. If your opponent, you know, after you tribute this off, bounce back one of the monsters you have and return the Dragonlords in the graveyard, whatever monster you bring out is going to be 0 attack, 0 defense. So you're going to have to protect that monster, and a lot of times having returned the Dragonlord in the graveyard is very useful for that. It's going to be that defensive block, and it's going to save you for that moment in the turn. And if the monster stays on the field, you're still going to have a monster to make plays with. So I like that a lot. Also, the Wee Wee Witch, you know, she's still going to be rocking in here. We still got a lot of dark monsters. Her effect, being able to recur a dark monster out of the graveyard, also too being able to bump up all dark monsters, is very useful for the deck and helps, you know, push the deck where you really want it to go. Also running one Heavy Metal Foes Electromite. This guy is just, until he gets banned, he's gonna be in every Pendulum deck that you run. He's just gonna get you the advantage, get that search advantage that you need, get the draw advantage you need every time one of your pen scales is blown up, so it's very useful. I'm also running one Decode Talk. A lot of people don't like Decode Talk, but I still like the fact that if your opponent tries to target one of your cards, like I say, I'm hating on ABC right now, but I use ABC Buster Dragon. You know, you got ABC Buster Dragon. Let's say you got a Vortex out there, you used up that negate. You got your Persona out there, you used up that negate, and then all of a sudden they come in there and they say, let me pitch one, target this. You say, hold up, let me tribute that off, negate that. Yeah, they still gonna get the tag out maybe, but still, they're not gonna be banishing out your cards, so that's very useful. We're running one Zephyr Metatron. Zephyr Metatron is just all around good for being a 3-pointers pointing down. Just help the opponents, you know, just help you out to get major monsters on board to destroy the opponent. Just very, very useful. And lastly, for the extra deck, running one Borlo Dragon. If you prefer Boral Sword Dragon, put that in this spot, but me personally, I still like Borlo Dragon. He still is that monster that can, you know, just wreck your opponent, and your opponent really gets caught off guard if you put him in a bad situation. But that is it for the extra deck. Guys, if you haven't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Also, to be sure to Gallic gun that like button, share, comment, subscribe. Thanks guys for all your love and support. We're out.